All right, guys, welcome back to the Spin Zone podcast. I am Cake Eater, followed by Vile and Martine. Unfortunately, Chad is unable to make it right now, but maybe he will show up later on in the podcast. So, gentlemen, how was your weekend of Beyblades?
Had a pretty
Well,
good weekend.
yeah. I'll go first because I know Martine has a lot more to say. So I'll
Yes.
just get my bit out the way. I
Uh-huh.
definitely did not go to an event this weekend. However, I did do some I had to call it competitive testing last night. And I had fun and I discovered that, and by discovered I mean I knew this, but Elevate bursts a lot. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, it does. Like, if it doesn't burst, it's a really good bit, but it just
Yeah.
bursts way too much for my liking.
It probably didn't help that a couple of the times it burst, it was going against Impact Drake. And while Impact Drake is not like an X plus tier number one best, it is a pretty good bay. And it just, I mean, they call it the Bay Breaker, right? So, yeah, it hits pretty hard. So that was rough. But overall, I did pretty well, and I had some fun, and I tested out a couple new things. So it was pretty dope. But I know Martine did a lot more than that.
Yes.
I
For
had a pretty poor weekend. This weekend I went like 1-3. I only beat one person, and then all my other matches were close, and then I just lost to some
just
really unfortunate events.
was just a weird bay combination, or was it?
No, I got my wizard rod bursted and pocketed,
Oof.
and then I got my wizard rod double extreme dashed.
What was your? I guess. What was your deck consist of?
I played uh Rod, was it Rod, Shark, and then I would like switch between Arrow and Wolf.
Arrow Wizard?
But no,
Oh,
Pegasus.
Arrow
oh
Pegasus.
my God! Why the hell? My mind went straight to Arrow Wizard, but
I mean, to be fair, that's not like, listen, Arrow Pegasus is obviously the tournament play. Arrow Wizard isn't. But when you think about it, like, how many people in our local scene actually have Arrow Pegasus? I mean, it's got to be less than 20%. You know what I'm saying?
oh, probably even less than that. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
not a lot of people have it.
yeah. Hopefully,
But
eventually, it will become one of those not really easy to get bays. Just hopefully, it kind of drops down in price a bit.
I mean, I think what they did with the Cobalt Drake, first off, let me be clear. I would love it if TT would allow these rare prize bays to be released in North America or just anywhere under Hasbro distribution. With that being said, that doesn't seem likely now that I think we're pretty well into year two of the game at this point. If they were going to do that, I feel like we would have seen at least Cobalt Drake at a stateside release at this juncture. Um, but I have seen, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, and I've seen a graphic for an Arrow Pegasus that is not a metal coat and is more like its emblem is a little more reddish in nature. And my guess is they'll do the same thing with Arrow Pegasus that they did with Cobalt Drake, where they'll have a less exclusive version as like the easier to get rare prize bay. And when that winds up happening, it's pretty easy to get one here for $40 to $50. And at that point, it's not quite as crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
then
they'll never release it in something like that though. They're probably gonna keep it as a prize bay so they could have it like for their gotcha.
No, I agree. But remember, like, so they did the same thing with Cobalt Drake, right? There was the original blue metal coat Cobalt Drake. That one you can get on, eBay for 40 to $50. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a lot better than $250. You know what I'm saying?
That is definitely a lot better. Now I feel like Cobalt Drake now isn't really that good, but I mean Yeah, overall it was pretty good. I ended up winning the raffle that they were doing. So
Hey, what was the prize?
I got a clear Cobalt Drake.
Oh, so that's where
And
you got it from. Hey, that's a good prize.
yeah, when because I was debating not going, I was like, maybe I was honestly thinking of go playing some Pokemon, but I was like, I'll go. I told my fiance like we're gonna go get coffee and then we could head down there. So I was just like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. It went pretty well for the most part. I guess I tied with All Hail the King. So then we were like, okay, so he pretty much just gave it to me because he was like, yeah, we tied up, but he's like, oh, the other guy can have it. That's fine. And I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. And I was like surprised. I was like, okay, like, really?
Yeah. Like,
I
So that
mean,
was pretty great of him.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, the first thing I'll say is that King is a good dude. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like
solid guy.
that's part one. But part two, talking to King a little bit, I feel like, he has a good job and he does well for himself. Like I just in a situation like this, I don't know that it was the end of the world for him. You know what I'm saying? Like if he really wanted a Cobalt Drake, he would just go out and buy one himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's good that he was a cool dude though. Did you have a Cobalt Drake, Martine, prior to this?
No, I did not. So I had one and then I ended up selling it to Sam. So I was like, oh, this is cool.
Did you have a
Wow.
clear one or did you have the original blue metal coat?
I had the clear one.
Okay, I got you.
So yeah, that was pretty nice of him to just be like, hey,
Oh, that's pretty sharp looking. I couldn't remember what it actually looked like, but yeah, that's different.
I
But it's
mean, considering it's not a metal coat, I think it looks pretty good. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I like that though. So, because we're all pretty much used to Kraken, and this past weekend's was at level X. So what was kind of I've been to level X, so what was kind of the vibe of that tournament compared to Kraken Hits?
it was just a little bit more low key, like still the regular faces you kind of see that show up to those events, but
And being
it was pretty smooth, all things considered.
yeah,
It was chill. I was just kind of on my downtime. I was just talking to Wayward and talking with Plain X Salad, thinking about what's going on. So because Six gave a like kind of like a almost kind of like a speech, or he was just saying that they're done with the Level X series. They're not gonna do Beyblade X anymore. They're gonna only stick to Metal Fight.
ooh, interesting. I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, so that they're only they're done with the Beyblade X. He said that he likes seeing the community grow and that he feels like there's finally enough organizers that it's like, how do you say, like we're starting to get more organizers, so then it seems like more time slots are being filled, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
where there's either double weekends where it's like a tournament on Saturday on Sunday, or then there'll be one every week where it's Saturday and then the following Saturday. Um and yeah, it just seemed like they have enough people running the organization now with like, how they had the Discord and how it was a smaller Discord and then we started getting a lot more people into it.
Right.
And I think that's more of the fact like I lost to a guy that was like from Iowa that said he drove like 4 hours or something. And I was like, "Where are you
Damn,
from?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm from Iowa, but I drive everywhere. I go over here, over there." I'm like, "Wow."
man, that's crazy. A 4 hour drive and then maybe a 4 hour drive back, or at least stay somewhere and make like a weekend out of it at least. I
Yeah,
think
I mean, he was like He was like, "Oh, I gotta work tomorrow too."
Honestly, maybe that's what I'll do. Like
I
on
was
one of
like,
my
"That."
on one of
Go,
my
keep going. Sorry.
yeah on one of my weekends off, just drive to one of the Dakotas or Iowa or Wisconsin or somewhere that's decently close and shit, make a weekend out of it. Maybe get some guys together and
Yeah, we could like
Yeah, I think
carpool down there.
dude,
yeah, I think that'd be fun.
yeah, I never even thought about that. That's because we obviously we got access to local tournaments and everything, so we could just
Yeah, I
pull
mean,
up,
And
I
pull up
feel like
like
we have enough
yeah,
here though to be like warrant me wanting to drive like 2 hours to a Beyblade event. Like, there's enough here that it's like, all right, this is chill. This is something that's happening locally. But
no,
even
yeah.
checking out, like, maybe I'd want to go check out maybe the South Dakota group because they seem like they have fun down there.
Oh, do they? Okay, I haven't heard
yeah,
anything about the Dakotas.
yeah, that's pretty new. And yeah, I mean, listen, I generally agree with Martine that like driving 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is hours when we have, a fair amount of events locally, like that could be a bit of a challenge for some people to wrap their head around. On the flip side, if you get a group of guys together and you carpool, the cost probably isn't too crazy. And um, I think it's less about the, oh, like we have Beyblade tournaments at home. Like, yeah, we do. It's more about the experience,
Yeah,
like going
absolutely.
to meet new people and spending time with your friends in the car and having it's like a road trip. The point of a road trip isn't always just the end destination. It's also the memories you make along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, when I used to eat,
100%.
yeah, once I or when I did Yu-Gi-Oh, I'd travel all over, and again, it's the experiences that you build and then the memories, which are gonna last for sure. But if there's like a car of four guys, what is it gonna be like 50 to $100 for like a whole weekend just to shoot some Beyblades? That's
yeah, I mean,
that's worth it
it's
to
not.
me.
Yeah, it's not too crazy for me either. One thing I did want to comment on real quick, Martine, you had said that Sixth and Holly are kind of stepping away from Beyblade X and going to be focusing more on Metal Fight. And I think part of that is probably that, for some people, Metal Fight is still the passion. Like I totally understand that viewpoint. Um, but you did have a good point when you were talking, and I think kind of their outlook on it is that X has gotten a lot of new judges and orgs in the last few months, at least here in Minnesota. And, you know, they there is a limited amount of time slots, and they're it almost seems like they are trying to encourage the newer generation of orgs and judges and stuff to start running things and trying to open up some time for them to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, hope like Holly put on great events and Holly and Six put on great events. I've been a couple of theirs. Like it's a straight up vibe up in there. So hate to really see them kind of step away from the X scene, but hopefully more people kind of go over to like the Kraken hits or the library so we can kind of start expanding at least the Twin Cities or Minnesota as a whole and just keep building up from there and making it a more dominant location, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. So first off, I do want to agree with you, Cake, that I have heard positive things about the events that Six and Holly run.
Hmm.
And well, it is in some ways sad to see them transition more over to Metal Fight. um I would say that Level Up, well, there's nothing wrong with it as a store. I think it's a cool store, and I've heard nothing like overtly negative about it. It does have a pretty low player cap. um
Yeah, I think it's like 20 or
and
something.
yeah, and I think when Beyblade X was first starting out here in the cities, I think that was maybe an acceptable player cap. now when I'm regularly seeing 30 plus people at pretty much every other event, you start to wonder, do we need to start looking at, venues that aren't capped at 20 players, right?
Right. Yeah, over like level up. Yeah, level up. It's a cool little store. Don't get me wrong. Video games, cards, board games. They got everything down there. But again, it's such a small spot where in the back room it's probably close to 10 to 15 guys just shooting bays and a couple guys out in like the gaming area because that's all it can really handle versus the library where it's a big opened area where everyone can see across the room. And so yeah.
The big room at the library is nice. The small room, it's fine, but definitely the last time we were at the library, there were too many people for that small room, like for sure.
I know I've only been to one of the library, so I don't know what room it was. It was upstairs, right off the escalator to the left hand side. If that, I don't know, but
I
either
think Martine can probably comment more, but there's the small room that we were in this last time, and it's a fine room, like I said, but maybe for 20 people. I think there was 30 something people in that room this past time, and it was too many people for that small of a space. It was pretty hot in there. It was kind of sweaty. And even to the point where there was definitely a subset of people who were just like hanging out outside the room, and they would come in when they were called for their match. But like it was just kind of hectic in there, you know.
yeah. But either way,
Um,
uh, unless you got more to say on that, there, Vile.
oh, I guess just to wrap it up, I know, and I'm not going to talk about this too much because I'm not sure how much the public is supposed to know, but I know that Acuna has been looking at alternate spaces, um, and not just in relation to availability or the size of the space, but also, and this is a public knowledge thing, so I can say this: the library doesn't allow entry fee to be charged.
Yes.
And well, Acuna still does like a pretty solid job with pricing, because he, I believe, does have some sponsorships with Bays and Bricks and Ripcord Arena and maybe something else. Um, opening up, into a venue that does allow for entry fees, I do feel like allows for a better prize pool.
Yeah, absolutely. Because yeah, we all go just for the fun of it and just kind of hanging out. But the prizes are what kind of drag people truly in. And if there's like not really good prizes per se, but again, Acuna puts on great tournaments. He does a good job with what he has, which is awesome. Because my first tournament, I went over to the library. I actually won a cardboard cutout of Jackson from the anime show, which is cool. But I ended up giving it over to give it to someone to give to her kid, which is totally fine. Because what the hell am I gonna do with a Jackson cardboard cutout from the show?
You could pin it up on your wall, brother.
Hanging up on my ceiling above my bed.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
just every yeah. Then you have to change your name to Chrome Ryugu at that point. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
Well, I mean, for anyone who's followed the anime, the entire like latter half of the first season, Chrome is like just literally obsessed with Jackson. Like, it was to the point where like when I watched it, I'm like, this is meant for like young children in Japan. This is what they think is appropriate. Is like this guy is like obsessing over his ex teammate and like stalking him and like making other people like dress up as him and use his bay in battles. Like, this is kind of creepy, bro. Like.
Well, honestly, we could probably talk more about the show maybe next week for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, Chad's here, by the way.
Hey, welcome in,
Hi, Chad.
Chad.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was fast asleep.
That was our guest.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
but that's
it's
just because I've got a weird schedule. So No
Yep.
worries.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, regardless, Martine, besides the tournament, what else was about your weekend?
Not really just that. I was just kind of taking it all in, kind of taken aback that actually they were gonna stop, like, like kind of going away from the level X events. I was kind of like, what? That's crazy. But I think they're pretty busy, like doing other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it makes sense that they're probably just like ready to kind of switch gears, stick to metal fight. It's just like, wow.
I mean, if they want to get rid of their whole X collection, hit me up. I got you.
Yeah,
Um,
That's
but
funny.
yeah. What was the format?
so at the level X, they just had deck format. So deck format is you bring 3 Beyblades, right? So it's not in any given order, and then you go. It has a counter pick system, or you can rematch, and then you could flip the stadium in between every time you do it. I'm not really a fan of it because then you have to do so much stuff to kind of like counter, or it's not like a set like 1, 2, 3, or you have to, let's say I have a deck, right? There was people just only using Wizard Rod, and then either you're forced to rematch a Wizard Rod, or you can bring something to counter Rod, which is kind of hard because not a lot of people were using Dragoon. There were times where people were countering my Rod, but I was like, that it's a very niche case scenario for them to like be able to get that off. Because there's times where I just got double extremed or pocketed and then bursted. But yeah, most of the people that got top 8, I'm pretty sure they were doing Rod for Swiss, and then they just kept up on with that.
So they only ran Rod and nothing else.
Yeah, from what I would see, like we would go. I would start Rod, or I would start like Arrow. It'd get a spin finish, and then I'd switch to Rod, and then it'd be just that back and forth. I'd never seen someone
Hmm.
in a battle use all 3 of their bays, unless I didn't see it.
Man, that's crazy
But
though.
yeah, I don't really like deck because then you just see people using Rod like all the time, and it's like, okay,
I mean, regardless, you're gonna see Rod and probably I'm gonna say like 90% of decks, and that's on a low side, just because
So,
Wiz Rod
Cake, I
Ball, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Wiz Rod, Wiz Hexa is just really good. So I'm personally saying at least 90%. But go ahead, Vile.
So, Cake, I totally agree with you. I think you're going to see Rod in a huge percentage of decks, whether you're talking about deck format or 3v3 format. I think the difference, and I think this is what Martine might have been trying to get at, is that in 3v3, yeah, I'm going to see your Rod, but I'm only going to see it in 33% of the matches, right? They can't just sit on Rod the whole time and crutch Rod, and I think that's what people do in deck is they just crutch Rod as much as they can.
No, I got what he was trying to say. I'm just
Now,
yeah, just saying no, like even deck format or 3v3 format, regardless, you're probably gonna see Rod at least 90% of the time. And if it is 3v3, it's right now it's Rod, Shark, and probably Arrow if you got it. Or
I see a lot. I see a lot of Rod Silverwolf actually in the same deck, which is pretty wild to me. But I mean, they must be performing, right?
yeah, yeah, they have to be.
which it works, but it's like we're in deck where it's just kind of you could just treat it like a 1v1 or even a 3v3. Like you could stay on Rod the whole time and not have to use another Beyblade,
It's
which is
very
kind of like it.
Keep going.
you know? It
Yeah,
kind of lowers like the counterability because like Rod's pretty consistent unless you're like using some really interesting combos. Like I mean, I lost like to like Golem Rock and like Scorpio on like some weird. Trying to remember what else the guy was using, but yeah, he was using like Golem Rock and something with like Underneedle. But it's just like, yeah, I personally don't like deck because you could just spam Rod.
yeah, and then hey, I want to rematch Wizard Rod against. Man, I don't.
Like if you have a Phoenix, right, then you need to get a really good hit in.
Yeah,
But it's still kind of like your chances are low. So deck ends up being like if you stick on Rod and they have a Rod, it ends up being like Rod mirrors or Rod versus Cobalt Dragoon.
yeah. I
The
think
wild thing about Cobalt Dragoon is I don't even feel like Cobalt Dragoon, like, it's good against Rod, but it doesn't have like 100% win rate. Rod can still beat it sometimes. Like,
yeah. So Martine, you like 3v3 then?
Yeah, I prefer 3v3 a lot cuz like that's how they play it in Japan and I feel like that's like the way the game is designed to be played is 3v3
Yeah,
because before Rod came out, before Rod was like an issue, but even when Japan would do like 1v1 tournaments for uh for like their qualifiers to go into the 3v3 like top cut, like people would just spam Rod most of the time to try to get into the top 8 bracket for the G3 tournaments.
and that's crazy, but totally understandable.
well, the G3 ones are the ones where you can actually get some cool bays as prizes, right? Like, that's where the gold Wizard Rod comes from and like the gold Perseus Dark and all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
can get
let's
all that stuff. So people are
yeah,
going to
if
be
you're
like, if I could only run Rod, and maybe someone else is like running something like kind of more niche, like why not just run Rod?
yeah,
Right.
especially if there's metal coated exclusive bays on the line, like, I can't fault anyone for crutching Rod in an event like that. That makes a ton of sense to me.
So Vile, which one do you prefer and why?
3v3 100%.
Yeah.
As to why, um I just think I think it's the most balanced format. I think deck, like Martine's alluded to, does allow you to crutch on a specific bay, normally Wizard Rod. Um, and I think the other big thing, and this is just from my empirical evidence of, teaching some newer people how to play and interacting with people who aren't big tournament goers, it's very easy for me to explain how 3v3 works to newer players. Deck, people have struggled to understand. And
Yes.
not that they couldn't, they'd eventually get it, right? But when I'm like, hey, come to your first ever tournament and it's a 3v3, I feel like that's an easier sell than, hey, come to your first ever tournament and it's deck. And it seems confusing for players. They're not really sure what's going on. They don't really understand the rules or what you can do between rounds, like, all the way. It's just a little bit more complicated. And as far as introducing new players into the tournament scene, I think 3v3 is the way to go.
Yeah, I totally agree. What about you, Chad? What are your thoughts?
I kind of agree with what everyone else has said. I prefer 3v3. Makes things a little easier.
What kind of experience do you have like with like deck format and like how do you feel like when you play, like what do you kind of with that in mind, like the Rod kind of is going to be the most used bay in deck format. How do you kind of go about that?
Ooh.
Well, in my case, what I've decided to do is obviously I've mentioned it before that I've taken my own wizard rod out of my deck, but I have specifically built my deck to basically counter as much of the meta as physically possible.
Anti-meta deck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've got Hover Wyvern, which is really good at knocking Wizard Rod and Silver Wolf and Cobalt off balance. I've got my own Silver Wolf, which honestly I think is just an upgrade of Wizard Rod, but that's just my opinion there. And then, of course, I have Cobalt, which, yeah, that thing is dangerous.
Yeah, I need to get my own Cobalt for sure.
The one thing that I was going to mention, I think it was Vile here actually mentioned it earlier, but the way to increase your chances of Cobalt beating Wizard Rod is just launch technique.
That comes up with a lot of things though. Like launching
Yes,
technique is a big part of just this game because it's more than just stand there and rip the cord.
exactly. But more importantly, what I found to be the best way to launch Cobalt against Wizard Rod is if your opponent is, depending on which way your opponent launches the Beyblade, obviously is going to determine, how you want to launch it. But I find like trying to launch Cobalt directly into the path of Wizard Rod is the best thing to do, especially if they're going for like the little stamina pockets is what I'm starting to call them. The little launch areas, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like when it comes to the X rail, you have the big circle, and then you have the two little launch zones that launch whatever's on the X rail directly to the middle of the stadium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I do.
A lot of stamina users or people who use Wizard Rod on like a stamina combo or even Hexa combo tend to launch right into the little gap there, and that gets them out of the way of attack types. So what I try to do is if I notice that's the launch that they're going for, I try to launch Cobalt in a way it will actually knock them out of there and force them into the middle of the arena. Which, when Wizard Rod is in the middle, Cobalt has a much greater chance of success.
Hmm. Yeah, just Cobalt, just in general, is just a good bay.
Yes, and I'm going to say something a little controversial here, but
Uh,
I like Cobalt more than Wizard Rod in that Cobalt is like meta, but it is very easily beatable depending on what combo it goes against. Whereas Wizard Rod is not as easy to beat, but then again, that doesn't matter anymore because we have a new left spinning bay that is going to drop soon. And if that has rubber on it, it is all over for Wizard Rod.
Yeah, it seems like, kind of wrapping up what we were talking about, but like now deck format is going to have a new dominating bay, and it's probably going to be Soul Eclipse.
Soul
Have you
Eclipse,
guys been
absolutely.
have you guys been like looking into that more? You
yeah,
guys see the like that video I sent you?
yeah, I watched just a little
Yeah.
bit of it, and it looks sweet. Definitely interesting,
Of course,
and I don't
the
know if
one
it's gonna
thing
be.
we also cannot forget about the Soul Eclipse is just how much versatility it has. Like, if we want to be honest, you have like 4 different ways of playing the Beyblade while keeping it on one combo.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be like the future of it, or is it just gonna be a kind of one-time build kind of thing? But I guess only time will tell at that one.
Exactly.
I think it'd
What do you
be.
think about the new release file?
What about it exactly? The new left spin?
The
Yeah,
new left spinning bay.
Uh, So I mean, do we even have any like concrete information on it yet?
It's a left spinning bay. It's got dual modes. It weighs more than Wizard Rod.
Oh, I mean, then yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty good. I mean, and obviously they could throw us a curveball and it could be total horseshit. But
Yeah,
in general, I mean, I think we need more left spinning bays. I mean, Cobalt Dragoon is, it's a decent bay, but I don't think it's like, oh my god, it's just like the best bay ever or anything. I think it's good because it's left spinning, and it pairs well with Elevate. But I think in general, if we want to see a more varied meta, we need a few more left spinning bays and not El Drago or El Drago rapid mode or whatever nonsense that is. Yeah.
yeah, that Crystal remake or whatever it was.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
El Drago looks dope, but
Oh yeah,
I mean, pretending it's competitive is, it's just not true.
it's not good. It's not. It's gorgeous. It's a really pretty bay. It's
It's
just
the
not
best
good.
mediocre bay.
It's the best remake. I agree. It's definitely the best remake bay.
And it's
It,
the best mediocre Beyblade out there.
yeah.
I don't like it more than Draciel Shield, but I may be biased, so that's just me.
That's fair.
I
But
do I do like the remakes though. They have a whole lot of nostalgia wrapped up into them, but they're just really not good overall.
I don't think any of the remakes, are like
No.
viable in any way. Yeah, it's like
No, I mean,
hard.
yeah, I definitely said I like Draciel Shield more than El Drago. That doesn't mean either of them are super playable. Like
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the other thing too that a lot of the higher up Beyblade people have been talking about with this new release is obviously when it comes to Beyblade X, we have such a huge amount of homage bays. So there's a chance this could be Medio El Drago or even worse. If this is Impact Drake but left spinning, yeah, stamina combos are in big trouble and for good reason.
Yeah. I guess we will see once we kind of get more information once it releases. And then once it does, we will definitely be talking about that on
Oh yes.
that up
I will
and
I
coming
I will
podcast
either be
episode.
singing the praises or I will be singing on its downfall depending on how good or bad they make it.
I really don't believe anything until like I see personal play tests because a bay can look like $1,000, but if it plays like garbage, then like everyone was all hyping up about all that CX line and oh they're gonna be the next big thing and over about
I
good majority of
mean,
them no good chunk of them aren't really they're good for the parts, but other than that they're not that good.
except for Pegasus Blast.
Eh,
Pegasus Blast is kind of carrying everything.
Interesting.
I've seen that be more popular, but I don't know. I like the BX line. I don't really have any CX bays. I was like looking at it. I'm like, eh. See, my whole thing is like I want to run short Beyblades or something short, so it just adds more
Mm-hmm. It's less
and like
heavy
on the height. Yeah.
and doesn't act like a weeble wobble.
Not the Weeble Wobble.
Yeah, they spin and they do fall down pretty fast actually. So kind of going back to tournaments, what would you guys kind of like to see a little bit more of in tournaments besides like obviously more people to kind of show up? If you guys
It's a good
need
question.
yeah, if you guys need a minute cuz I personally have one
I
cuz
was going
I
to
can
say,
tell you,
I actually have a good one for this. I have a good answer to this question.
all right, go ahead then, Chad.
What I would love to see happen more is for people to experiment more with Beyblades. Like obviously there's the big five of the Beyblade meta right now, but I'd love to see people like experiment with what counters that and bring that more so that way we can start to phase out a lot of these big names like Wizard Rod and stuff because people will be running the counters to it.
And I understand where you're coming from, but that's going to be very hard to do.
Eh,
Uh,
it can be, but I have faith in the Beyblade community. They've always found a way.
People are just going to run meta in whatever, any kind of competitive scene. Trading cards, video games, probably even like
Oh no.
activities.
Sorry, what I meant by that was like I know the meta stuff's going to be around, but it'd be nice to see a lot more like experimental stuff to help counter that, so that way we get a little more,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Okay. Now
we
I
get a
understand
little
what.
more variety. Like not everyone running Wizard Rod. I mean, obviously there's going to be those people who will, but it'll be cool to see people like me who run like anti Wizard Rod combos.
Okay, now I gotcha.
Exactly.
Exactly. Uh,
Exactly. You
Vile,
got to
you,
beat the weed.
What's up?
You got anything that you would like to see more in like the tournament scene?
I got something I like to see less of, and his name starts with a W.
Wayward?
No, Wizard Rod.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
no. Wayward's tight. I ain't got no beef with him. He's a good guy.
Uh,
I you know, I this is probably a hot take, and but it's kind of in relation to what Chad said. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, we don't want any bans in Beyblade." Like, listen, guys, every major TCG on the planet has a ban list. Hot take here. I think it's just time to put Wizard on the ban list, and I'm not saying it needs to stay there forever, but let's just get 6 months to a year of no Wizard Rod. That would be fucking great, and I think that would open up more creativity and more options in decks.
Well, more than just that, like if you're afraid of just banning the Beyblade outright, ban it on stamina combos. Like make people play it on an attack combo because at least that's different, that's unique, and it's not as
mm,
powerful.
I
I
think
mean,
it
so Chad, I understand like what you're saying, and like, listen, I would take that over nothing being done to Wizard Rod, but I
absolutely.
just feel like we're at the point where like we have over 100 Beyblades at this juncture. They can just ban one. Like it is okay. Like everyone will live, and we will, and yeah, a few people will grumble, and then they'll quit clutching their meta pearls, and they'll have to get over it and find something new. Like it is
Silverwolf.
what it is.
Well, I'm more worried that like you ban Wizard Rod and someone goes, "Oh, they're banning my combo." Well, I guess I'm just not going to this tournament anymore.
Then that's on them.
That's kind of fair. Yeah, but it's still like
I mean, that
I don't
happens in
know.
We
TC.
still
That
at
happens
that
in TCGs
juncture
all the
where like
time.
we need more people at these tournaments.
And there would be more people if they didn't have to play against. I would argue that Wizard Rod actually, like removing Wizard Rod, would have more people come out because they wouldn't be like, oh boy, I'm going to get to see Wizard Rod all day long for the 10th tournament in a row. Like,
And then
That's fair. What
out of
we
your
could do then in that case is for one of the next tournaments or one of the next get-togethers that we do here in Minnesota, we could try banning it and see how people feel after at least one or maybe two tournaments of no Wizard Rod and see where people sit after that.
yeah, I mean, listen, I would be curious to see how people feel about that. And what I will say is like maybe Beyblade players are just a little. I almost used the F word. A little something spoiled. Because in a TCG, they'll ban a card and it will take out your whole deck. You might have put $400 or $500 into that deck, and your whole deck is just totally shot because they banned the one card that made it work.
the engine,
Like
yeah.
I just don't feel bad for banning a $10 Beyblade. Like I just don't. You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally get that. Honestly, I think that's the biggest problem with Wizard Rod. If it was a good Beyblade and expensive, no one would bat an eye. But I think the biggest problem is the fact that it's so fucking cheap to get it.
Well, it's better than Aero Pegasus. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
and Aero Pegasus. I mean, I just saw a new tier list from, I think it was JP Blader earlier. That has Aero Pegasus back up at like X tier or whatever. And listen, I think Aero Pegasus is a great bay. I smoked some of my buddies with it last night. Some of their best combos. I just smoked them, but it's not Wizard Rod. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's not.
Right.
Like,
Right.
but I would also be, Chad, like, I agree with what you're saying, but then we also have to look at, like, Aero Pegasus is a great Beyblade, like, there's no doubt. But there are other Beyblades that are similar in power that serve the same function. If Wizard Rod was a rare get bay, um, first off, it would be going for $600, not $200 or $250, because the demand would just be so much higher, and it definitely would be a conversation about pay to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, like a lot of TCGs are basically pay to win. A lot of the
Yeah,
most
that
competitive
was going to
decks.
be my response to that. Is like a lot of competitive stuff is in some way, shape, or form pay to win. I mean, let's not forget Metal Fight and Burst are very pay to win. I'm looking at you, Guilty Frickin' Longinus, and I'm looking at you, Flame 230 CS, the hardest Beyblade to get, but an insta win in every single Metal Fight deck.
Yeah. Like, and
And
we're
this
not
is,
even.
and listen, there's going to be pay to win aspects, right? In
Yes.
any game that has collectible pieces or parts, whether that's trading cards or Beyblade or whatever else, there's going to be some element of pay to win. I just think in general, Beyblade X does a pretty decent job of it not being super crazy. Like, obviously, it's a game. It has physical parts. You have to spend some money to get those parts. That's just how it works. Um, but yeah, you can go buy an Aero Pegasus for $250, but like, I see Aero Pegasus lose plenty, and having one doesn't guarantee you a win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, which is, it's not quite like TCGs. Like, I mean, I think Sam had put up, he had already had it up, but he like reshared his post where, like, oh, you can spend like $50 and have a pretty damn competitive deck. Is it perfect? Are there things you could add? Sure. But you can go to your first tournament with that deck, and you'll do decent. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I think just more importantly than anything else, I have to agree with a little YouTube short that I saw last night that I couldn't help but laugh at and wanted to share, which was someone going over all the Beyblades and talking about how Wizard Rod is unironically the biggest mistake the Beyblade community has ever made.
That's
And
interesting.
you know what? You're not even wrong. This Beyblade was a mistake to come out this early, this powerful.
Yeah. And it's pretty fair because, again, we compare a lot of this game to TCGs because that's what majority of us know, and that's what a lot of
Mhm.
us really grew up on. So, like, the games that are paid to play, like, you had X Sabers, you had Light Sworns in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene, and I wasn't personally big into like the Magic or the Pokemon scene whatsoever, but there are a lot of big money cards that they start off right from release, basically like probably $15-$20, and then right when someone kind of breaks the system, it goes up to $50 to $100.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's. I don't think it was abnormal at various points in Yu-Gi-Oh to have the key, like, secret rare for a particular deck that like just popped off. I mean, $100, and you needed to buy 3 copies of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That is 100% true.
Yeah, 3 or 4 copies, absolutely. It- so having, I don't think Beyblades is a paid to play because, like you said, Arrow Pegasus. Is it necessary to in your deck? No, I personally don't think so. But is it a good bay?
I mean, I
Yes.
mean, I I own an Aero Pegasus. Okay, I 100% own one, and I actually own 2 or 3. And I
Crazy.
I cannot I could not even, like, if I went to a tournament tomorrow, I'm probably not playing Aero Pegasus. Like, that's just real talk, you know?
That's fair.
So if and like, listen, I could play it, and like, I'm not saying like it's not a good bay. It's an excellent bay. It's an absolutely incredible bay. But the fact that I own one, and I'm like, yeah, if I went to a tournament tomorrow, may very well not run it. Like, that tells you that it's not a pay to win bay. There are plenty of options that you can get for $8 to $10 to $20 at your local Target or Walmart or Amazon that do just as well as Aero Pegasus does.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, Vile, you can get at least a pretty decent competitive 3 bay deck for about $50, or maybe even less
Yeah,
than
I
that.
agree.
There are so many places um, to get one, like uh, just Walmart or Target. They have plenty. Or you can go online and go to like Macari or Parchmart or eBay and get a whole lot. And sometimes they're not even that expensive. Silverwolf at Target is like $10 or something.
$10, yeah.
Yeah,
10
yeah. And
$12.
Yeah.
yeah. Silver Wolf at Target $9.99. And if you have the Target Circle app, a lot of times they have specials where, like, buy $30 worth of stuff, get $5 off, or buy $50 worth of stuff, get $10 off. GameStop even right now is actually running a buy two get one free on Beyblades.
When does that end?
So
Oh yeah.
When does that end?
I'm not sure. I mentioned in the server. I tagged all you guys.
No, I saw that, but
Yeah.
I just can't remember when it ends.
I'm not sure.
I could pull it
Usually
up
there's
real quick.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of you guys.
usually their stuff runs 2 weeks, but I don't
Okay.
know for sure when it's supposed to end. But my point is, there's always opportunities to get base at a good deal. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
absolutely.
Someone is always running some sort of special. You just keep your eyes open. You know.
Yeah, I forgot who
Um.
showed it, but at their Target they had the 2 pack Star Wars for like $18. Is it,
Yikes.
it yeah, it was like the Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, I think it is, or
Oh
uh,
yeah, they had discounted it down to like 17 something from its normal price of 24.99. Yeah.
I mean,
Um.
is it a good two pack? No, but is it going to get you started? Absolutely. Are they cool looking? Oh,
One.
oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just surprised because that's the newest 2 pack that we've seen on shelves outside of. I have heard that Red Hulk and Captain America have showed up in limited capacities at certain Walmarts. They're not, I wouldn't say widespread yet, but hopefully they will be soon. But
Yeah.
the Obi-Wan and Grievous thing, that was kind of like an under the table release. Like, I had found it back in like July. You know what I'm saying? And like, I was barely I wasn't even aware it'd been released. Someone posted they found one and I went and grabbed one. Like
Nice.
It
um
happened.
but yeah, that one hasn't really been talked about. I assume it's because it's not a great 2 pack, like you said.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
majority of those partnerships, and again, I think in every podcast that we have had so far, we have at least mentioned the crossover packs, which probably even in the next episode we are going to talk about our thoughts on crossovers that we would like to see, because we're kind of slowly run out of time now, and there's something else that I would like to talk about before all that. Are
For sure.
Yeah, just crossovers that each of us would like to see. Um, but yeah, Silver Wolf, $10. Cobalt, or no, not Cobalt. Dragoon, you can get that for like $15. But
Yeah, it's been on sale for 15 on Amazon for like the last month or two, I feel like.
yeah, so, and then if you want to go get anything and then just a third one, just go get a wizard rod, preferably not on the rail ball or whatever that. Does it work? Yeah. Is it good? That's like F. That's like Z tier.
Yeah, I mean, I like the green variant better because it comes with what is it, 160?
160 low flat or something like no gear flat. I'm blanking on. There's been so many releases. It's really hard to keep track of
Yeah, I
what.
mean, I prefer the green one, but if the yellow one's all you can get, the most important thing out of there is the blade, obviously. The
Yeah,
other thing is, and a lot of people forget about this too. You can get, because they always see the $20 metal coat red Phoenix with the launcher, but you can get the blue Phoenix that comes on. I don't think the ratchet's great, but it comes with Hexa, which is a pretty important bit, and that's only $8.
but having
That's not
a
bad.
yeah, but having a good launcher right off the bat. I personally like the winder launchers a little bit better than the string launchers, but are string launchers bad at all? Absolutely not. They're a great way to start compared to that little itty bitty launcher that uh, some of the packs come with.
Proto launcher.
Thank you. That's what those words are. Yeah, the proto launchers. They're not even
Oh yeah, the
good.
Proto. No, they're terrible. They're
They're
they're they're horrible.
yeah. So getting
Then
a
again, they're
winder
not
launcher.
made to be good. They're made for you to just get started,
Yeah, and
for better and for worse.
getting the Soar Phoenix with a string launcher right off the rip. So get a Soar Phoenix with a launcher, get a Silver Wolf, and get a Wizard Rod, and all that is probably going to run you about $50 or
And that's
somewhere around that.
40 plus tax if you're doing it
40
right.
plus
Yeah.
tax, yeah.
Yeah. So bam. Is it going to be competitive first place ready? Absolutely not. Are you going to have a grand old time learning about a new
Yeah,
hobby for less than $50? Absolutely. And none of those bays are hard to find whatsoever. They're everywhere.
They
You
are
Yeah,
everywhere.
the Phoenixes are, yeah, and Silver Wolf started shipping. I mean, I think you can walk into pretty much any Target in the state right now and buy a Silver Wolf.
absolutely. And again, that's just Minnesota and could be literally anywhere else too. And Martine, were you able to find when that GameStop promotion ends?
I was looking at their website and it doesn't say when it will end. So
Oh, forever.
that is interesting. Depending on when it probably will go on till
Probably end of the week.
end of the week, probably, unless they're just gonna keep it on there for a while. But
Yeah, because it
that would
started
make a lot of sense for them to do that.
right because it started like sometime last week or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, check out your local GameStop. Some GameStops actually, you might be able to even find a whale with an elevate or not elevate.
Yeah, Elevate.
Yeah, elevate. Oh, I don't. Oh my god, man, it's been a long couple days. Brain completely fried.
No, I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, that's the one thing I'll mention to people is that I think at the beginning when Beyblade X first came out, the GameStops were trying to like each individual store was trying to keep track of like which base it had in stock, even like when you looked at their website. Um, the stores have gotten kind of lazy about that. So just because, like, if you search Tidewell right now in the Twin Cities area within like 100 miles, it'll say that there
they don't
aren't
have
any
it.
available. But like, if you go into GameStops, like, it's been that way essentially since Tidewell launched, and people have definitely gone into GameStops and found them. So I guess what I'm going to say is just if you look on their website and you're like, oh, well, there's no Tide Wheels anywhere, I can't get it. Just go to a few of your local Game Stops and look. Even call them if you have to. If you don't want to go driving around, call them up and ask them.
yeah,
Like they are out there.
yeah. Their system should be up to date. If not, they can kind of quickly go run in the back. And I don't know how their stocking is up in the back, but it does not hurt whatsoever to just call up and ask because you never know what they could have, and if they do end up having one, and you just need to buy one more to get another one free. I think that's a win.
It absolutely is. Um, And then for people, and the other thing about GameStop that I'm not sure if people know, because I don't know if they show on the website very well, is like the Jurassic Park 2 packs. There's 2 different variants. Were supposed to be Amazon exclusive, but they definitely have them at GameStop.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So if you're looking for those, they don't have them at Walmart, they don't have them at Target, but they do have them at GameStop. And well, normally that stuff is, $24.99 for a 2 pack because they're licensed or whatever, is kind of spendy. Buy two get one isn't the worst time to try to pick up stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, 24, like $25
Not
for 2
to
bays.
interrupt you guys. I'm just letting you know I am heading out to go to work right now.
All right, have fun.
Sounds
All
good.
right, bye
Have
bye, Chad.
fun.
See ya.
I hope to see you guys there eventually.
I might have to.
What, at
but
Boot Barn?
Yeah, at Boot Barn, so I can help you buy some boots at the barn.
hell yeah.
Maybe you hook me up with that sweet employee discount. We can talk, brother.
Oh Jesus.
I think I might be able to, unironically. I just got to go about it a little different.
Well, we can
Sounds
talk
good.
privately about
Yeah,
that.
talk about that
Yeah,
out
exactly.
of the podcast, possibly.
I got the secrets.
All right, Chad, get out of here.
All right, talk to y'all later.
All right, see you.
Bye bye.
All right, so kind of let's rewind it back to what we were talking about, were just the tournaments and everything. There are people that do prefer prizes, but then there are some people that prefer cash prizes, which some people consider cash prizes as some kind of like gambling. Do you guys prefer to actually get really good prizes like a Crystal Drake, or even it's not a really expensive thing, or whatsoever, like a drop stadium, or anything that's actually worth, I'm going to say, more than like $50? Or would you rather get some kind of cash out of
So
think
I'm gonna be very long winded. So I'm gonna let Martine start on this one.
it?
I think with that, right? Okay, so if we were to do cash prizes, like that sounds like a great idea. I mean, just maybe putting in a pool together and then being like, all right, we're gonna, we're just gonna go about it kind of in that way. Like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, we're gonna do cash prizing. We won't get any like special bays or anything like that, or even like if they were to do gift cards or something. I feel like cash prizings would be ideal, but I don't think everybody's going to be on board with that.
Right.
Versus like, I think, at least for me personally, like getting Bay product that you probably wouldn't normally go buy, but then you could go win off a free tournament is still pretty good. I think that's still pretty valuable to have.
Yes,
I think it's
absolutely.
going to take a big shift for people wanting to do like cash prizes or something like that. Like, I mean, do I want to go to a tournament where they just give out 3 random boosters that I could get at Target? I don't think I really care about the pricing then. If I'll go more to have fun and kind of take it that way. But I would see why people, would probably be discouraged by the cash pricing. But I feel like that's something that we should definitely like at least try to take a shot at, to be like, hey, maybe this is something we can do. But I don't know. I would prefer cash prizing, but there's probably got to be something about either gambling or earnings or something that's like maybe where people aren't familiar with it. But I see it all the time in card games like that. You can do cash prizing, so I don't know specifically. I could probably look up into it more, but maybe because if we did cash prizing, maybe we would need to have like an age requirement or something along those lines. But
Right.
I don't know. I've seen other game stores in the country do cash prizing, like, but they'll have a bigger crowd. I've seen like a stream I watch every now and then. It's like they'll have 30 people and they'll do cash prizing for like top 3, or they'll do like a gift card, something along those lines. But I don't know. Something I think we just have to wait and see. I definitely would prefer cash prizing because it's just like any prizes that are out, it's like something that, maybe it's something I could have already like went and bought. So maybe that would incentivize more people to join if there were cash prizings. Something we kind of got to wait and see. What do you think, Val?
So I think it's a hyper complex issue. Okay, so first off, I'll talk about the kind of the one of the things you touched on, and then I'll move into kind of my thoughts on it that are separate from what you had said. Um, it could be construed by some people as gambling. Legally, I do not think it counts as gambling because I've at this point had enough people suggest that cash prizing is a good way to start out running events. I've also, obviously, like you've mentioned, seen cash prizing just across the board in TCGs. Um, and, as it comes to an age requirement, like you mentioned, um, that might be something that would have to be instilled. However, generally, minors that come to events come with their parents. And I do believe that that kind of stuff is generally allowed with parental consent. And so I think, and the parent, there's no 10-year-old coming to a Beyblade event without their parent. Like it just is what it is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, so there, I think when their parent signs them up, their parent essentially acts as their guardian or representative in said event, right? I think we could do cash prizing, right? I think we definitely could do it. Now, where the issues come in is it so the first thing is cash prizing requires the back end. The TO essentially has to allow their back end to be seen, if that makes any sense. Like Martine, if we run let's say a 30-person cash prize tournament at Kraken Hits, okay, and the entry fee, just for argument's sake in this case, let's just say it's $10 a person to make it a round number, okay? Now, that's $300 that's been intook by Kraken Hits at that point, right? Kraken Hits now has $300. Now, when you do cash prizing, people are going to be much more focused on what was paid versus what was paid out than they would for physical prizes. That's just the nature of the beast. So, if all of a sudden the prize pool is only, let's say, $200, everyone's going to immediately see the back end, which is Kraken Hits took $100 out of that for usage of the room. And people are going to have opinions, right or wrong, on those subjects, right?
I'm
You
sorry.
kind
Could
of,
you repeat that again?
okay. So Kraken Hits has a 30-person tournament with a $10 entry fee, and they do cash prizing. All of a sudden, the payout is only $200 in total cash prizes. Now, the whole community can now see Kraken Hits back end, which is they intook $100 for the usage of the room that day, right?
Right.
Now, I personally understand that a business has to get something if they are going to continue to allow usage of their space. And unlike TCGs, unfortunately, most of these stores do not sell Beyblades or do not sell them in any capacity where they're making money hand over fist on them. It's not like Pokemon cards where they usually just put 100% of the entry fees into the prize pool because people come in, they buy singles, they come in, they buy packs, they come in, they buy boxes, ETBs, whatever. Kraken Hits doesn't sell Beyblades like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
a business wants to make something for the usage of their space because at the end of the day, they could have been running something else in that space potentially that could have brought more money into the store. And doing cash prizing, it opens up the TO's back end for everyone to see. And not every TO or store is going to be comfortable with that. And not every player is going to like to see the nitty gritty of how much of the prizing money goes towards the venue. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a Pandora's box that once you open it, you can't shut it. Now people have seen it. Now people have opinions on it. Now it's being talked about, right? Um, the other caveat I would say is when it comes to cash prizing versus product pricing is how adept is the TO at obtaining physical pricing like bays for instance at reasonable pricing, right? If the TO is just going and buying a metal coat cobalt dragoon off Basin bricks for 76.99, that is not a good use of prizing funds, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I happen to know what you can get a Cobalt Dragoon for if you know how to source product from overseas, right?
Right. Or like if that, even if like that's coming out of their own pockets that they're, like, or I don't know how like it works if you're a TO and like if you're sponsored, then maybe you can get like a gift card and then you can like order stuff off like their website and stuff like that. But still, it's still a good chunk of money that.
So I guess to wrap it up, do I have a preference, whether cash pricing versus physical pricing? I think my preference is that it should depend on the TO, the venue, and their unique circumstances. I think some TOs, I think I personally, and this might sound like I'm tooting my own horn, and maybe I am a little bit, I have a better understanding of how to source product for cheaper. Okay, I just do. If like plain egg salad ran an event, he also understands that, right? So maybe physical pricing for some TOs makes sense. However, if a TO is going to get physical pricing by logging on to Basin Bricks and paying their sometimes pretty high prices on things, I think that TO should just do cash pricing at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think the answer is it depends on the circumstances. Like,
Yeah, that's fair. And then also kind of going off of what you just said about the circumstances, could be just a location. Like a little small town in Iowa or something isn't going to have like $500 first prize winning kind of thing. But
no.
they might have, I don't, maybe a drop stadium or like a bundle pack or something like that for the first prize. Is it ideal? For us, we pay like $7 for entry. I don't know what that is for everywhere else. Everywhere else might be $10. It could be $5. It could be free. But the $7 like every week or every other week just to play a good hobby and having prizes on top of it, it's just a plus. And
No, I mean, I agree.
no,
If I pay,
yeah, and I got you.
if I pay, if I go to 2 events a month and pay $14 an entry, that's not, I mean, that's the same as paying your World of Warcraft subscription. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a great way of putting it.
$14. I think if you go to a movie not during like the super saver Tuesday morning time frames or whatever, I think you're paying at least $14 for just the ticket, let alone whatever you're going to pay in concessions. You know what I'm saying? So I think, $7 entry, I think that's more than reasonable.
Yeah.
And really, if anyone was complaining about a $7 entry, hell, even in today's day and age with the market the way it is, even if they were complaining about a $10 entry, I would argue that maybe this isn't something they can afford. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, and I know it sounds rude and gatekeeping and whatever, but like, sometimes you just got to spit facts,
Yeah, because like you said, like World of Warcraft or a lot of games require some kind of online play, which that also costs like X amount of money per month. But yeah, you get all the month paid for versus playing at Kraken, you're only paying $10 for like a 4 to 5 hour gameplay.
Right.
I guess my thing is, I don't know anywhere.
Oh.
I could pay 10
Hey, Vile, you're kind of breaking up there, buddy.
You turned into a robot.
Yeah, you did, sir.
Oh, am I sitting in the bed? Is it still bad?
Yep, still bad.
Okay, hold on. I'll try to fix it. You guys carry on.
Okay. Well, anyway, while Vile kind of turns back into a human, for me, I think it's cool to have. I like the prizes, so I have something to. I guess for the cash prizes, you can also have something to look forward to. But having prizes is just super cool. I like knowing that I have I could chase that product right then and there versus if I get the cash, I have to try to find the prize for a decent price, pay for uh, shipping and handling and everything else like that. But I also do like the idea of having a cash so I could really kind of pay for the tournament in itself plus a little bit extra if I did want to go to GameStop and get that buy two get one free product going on right now, or go get a thing of gas, or even just go get dinner for the day. So I'm kind of with Vile in a way shorter extent that having both prizes versus cash, I'm okay with either because I'm just going there at the end of the day just to play a game that I'm truly enjoying hanging out with some really great people because again, this community is phenomenal. Everyone is so open and welcome. Hey, do you mind helping me with this? Hey, uh, it depends on who you are with this one, but hey, do you have this part? Could I borrow it for the tournament? Or hey, could I borrow this for a play test so I can kind of find my own kind of thing? Like just the community overall is just amazing. But going back to prizing, I like the idea of both of them. I don't know
Hey, can
what.
you hear me now?
Yep, yeah, you sound.
Yes.
Yep, you are not a
Okay.
robot anymore. So good job.
Yeah, all I was gonna say before I left was just that, and this is so in relation to pricing, is just that I don't know any other event where you could pay $5, $7, $10 and get a 4 to 5 hour fun experience out of it.
Yeah,
I
go.
think you pay more if you go to the movies. I think you pay more if you go bowling. I think you go more if you play laser tag. Like I can't think of too many things where I can pay $5 to $10 and I can have fun for 4 or 5 hours with my friends in a public space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. So that yeah. So what I was saying, I prefer. I like both. I like both ideas. I'm just going just for the fun of it because this hobby is just amazing. I'm having such a blast the last probably like 6 months or so that I've been playing this, and I haven't even thought about going back to. I was big into Lorcana. I don't plan on going back to that. Was huge into Digimon. Don't plan on going or any other TCG that I was really into. I don't plan on going back to any of those. Hopefully, I'm just gonna stick with Beyblades for the long term. Other than that, I think we might be kind of wrapping up right now, guys. Unless
that's
there's
totally fair.
yeah, unless there's anything else that you guys would like to kind of talk about.
Well, maybe just upcoming events like normal and then close it out.
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now. Because I don't think we have anything going on like um like the rest of this month, which is only a
I don't
couple
think.
days.
Yeah, there's not a lot coming up in November. It looks like there's more just.
I don't know. Maybe we can.
They got the MX October. They got a Kraken Hits Limited on the 25th, and then they're doing the Level X Champions on the 26th. But that you need to have gotten an invite for.
hmm, I don't know. There is. I don't know. We could probably talk about this after the podcast, but there is one in Wisconsin that I just looked
Ooh,
at, and that's this
What
weekend.
what what part of Wisconsin?
And again, you're kind of sounding like a robot, so I don't know what's going on.
I don't
what
know.
what part of Wisconsin?
Uh, Waukesha, Osawa.
That sounds far.
Is that a Dave and Buster's?
Interesting. Interesting.
That's really interesting. Wawasoa.
I gotta work that weekend, or else I would have been like, bro, let's go.
Dude, go to D&B's, play some games, get some food, and shoot some bays for a weekend. Anyway,
That sounds like a great time.
oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we could talk about that. But yeah, the 18th, is that on the event thing? On the
Let me see. I'm not seeing it, so it might be something.
yeah, because the last events were the 18th, which is at Kraken Hits. I believe that starts at 2. And then there's one on the 25th, if I am not mistaken, also in November. That one's going to be at the library. That one's going to start at noon. And those have not yet been official yet on the WBO website. So kind of keep an eye out for those as well. But other than that, guys, I think we are all set and calling it a day. Just another great episode and hang out with you guys.
Yeah, and now I'm like getting kind of groggy. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Luckily, I got my coffee beforehand, so I'm all ready to go now. And Vile probably still sounds like a robot.
I probably
Oh, yep,
do.
100%. Yeah, it like comes and goes, which is fine. I'll just kind of send it off, and we'll just call it a day. So, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Spin Zone podcast with Cake Eater, Vile, Martine, and a little guest appearance from Chad the VA. Make sure you give us a like, follow the podcast on everywhere that you are able to find podcast services, and give us a 5-star rating, which will really help us out in the long run, because hopefully we can kind of get sponsored and kind of get tournaments and everything else like that sponsored by the Spin Zone podcast. All right, guys, until next time we see you, so long, stay safe, have a great and awesome rest of your day, rip it out, and take care. Much love, guys.